Hello everyone, Final Fantasy XIV PvP has been reworked and revitalized as of patch 6.1. So many new people have been enjoying the job changes and the new mode Crystal Conflict. In this video, I'll be talking about all the strengths and weaknesses of the healer jobs as of patch 6.11. Even if you don't play healer, you can learn a little bit of what to do against them in this video. Quick disclaimer, I believe everyone and every job is capable of getting crystal rank if they put effort into learning and practicing. Some jobs are just easier to climb with, so play what you enjoy and do your best. Now let's get right into it. Mage is the strongest job currently. It provides heals, buffs, crowd control, and deals good damage. Afflatus Purgation is Mage's limit break. It's a line AoE that does 18k damage, stuns the enemies, buffs your team, and gives them regen all at the same time. Mage builds limit break every 60 seconds, which is faster than most other jobs. If used properly, this can lead to early kills and snowballs. Mage's second strongest tool is Miracle of Nature, an ability that transforms an enemy and makes them unable to use actions for 2 seconds. This is strong because it cannot be cleansed with Purify. This makes Mage powerful for all team comps. Mage has a small weakness. Cure 2 is not instant casted like the other healers' heals. There are times where you might be interrupted mid-cast or someone is defeated as you are casting. An advanced tip to playing Mage is to use Miracle of Nature as a chain CC tool. Use it before or after your team stuns or silences the target when possible. A tip to fighting Mage is to keep an eye on the enemy limit break bar. If you see the enemy Mage limit break is nearly ready, prepare to use a wall or stand away from your team. Sometimes you can force the enemy to use it poorly by separating. The next job is Astrologian. Astro is a support that can give your team the upper hand with buffs. I would rate this job as an A+ tier. Astro has the ability to give its teammates more limit breaks per match by drawing the Spire card. In the first engagement of a match, this can be especially powerful because if the enemy team doesn't attack, your team can fall back and build limit breaks first. Celestial River is Astro's limit break, and it can completely change the pace of battle by making the enemy team attack 30% weaker and your team attack 30% stronger. Pairing this with the balance card can also make your team deal insane amounts of damage. The weakness to Astro is the RNG cards. Sometimes you will draw a card you don't really need at the time. For example, drawing the MP card when everyone MP is full. A tip for playing Astro is to make sure your team is in range for cards and Celestial River. Keep track of who just died and when they will respawn. Always keep in mind of your own burst damage as well. This job can deal a decent amount of damage. 2 gravities into Macrocosmos can deal 28k damage and even higher depending on what buffs you have. A tip to fighting against Astro is to make them a target. As of right now, if you cast Expected Benefic, Fall Malefic, or Gravity, you have to double cast immediately or you will lose a double cast opportunity, meaning the Astro cannot recuperate, guard, or even purify after the original cast. Next up is Sage. Sage is a high damage supportive job with a very powerful position controlling limit break. Sage is a lot different than the other healers. You do not have a heal spell like Cure or Benefic. Instead, to heal a single target, you must have Cardia on the teammates and deal damage with doses. Mesodius is Sage's limit break. It allows you to place a barrier on the field that does damage over time to the enemies that are in it, and they cannot hit you unless they're within the barrier. Use this on the crystal to help your team control space. A weakness to Sage is Cardia management. You won't know when your teammates will be falling back, and that forces you to switch Cardia targets often. If your Cardia is on someone not taking damage, you're losing out on heals and damage thanks to not unlocking Toxicon 2. A tip for playing Sage: keep an eye out on your enemy limit break bars. Your limit break can counter enemy limit breaks if they do not do them within the circle. It can also mitigate bomb explosions on the Volcanic Heart map. Tips for playing against Sage: the Sage limit break on the crystal is very strong, but it does not make people invincible. It may be to your team's benefit to focus on the Sage, especially if they do not have Cardia on themselves. The last healer to talk about is Scholar. Scholar has mitigation and support that can make a team more defensive. I would rate this as an A- tier. Scholar is one of the best jobs to have in the first engagement in Crystal Conflict. The 10% damage reduction from Expedience and up to 6k shield with Adloquium is good mitigation to allow your team to push. Scholar's main weakness is that it's pretty reliant on your team to deal burst damage and confirm kills, since most of your damage is coming from dots. A tip for playing as Scholar is place your Seraph at good angles. Don't place it in places where LOS will occur often. When using a limit break, remember that Seraph will buff your next spell, so never do Expedient into summon Seraph. A tip to fighting against Scholar is to not stand too close to your team. Scholar will be reapplying dots and spreading them the entire match. If you stand away from your teammates who have dots, the Scholar will have less impact. And that's it. PvP is pretty intricate and I hope these tips help. If you are looking for extra help, I stream at twitch.tv/BrianRicardo about 30 hours a week. You can watch me play any job, and I also mentor players by reviewing their gameplay. Reach out to me on Discord, Twitter, or Twitch. Lastly, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to this video if it helped you. Thanks for watching.